Hello, right, we're back with the Clio, which is behind me. This is the first time we're putting up the ramp, so let's have a look to see how horrendous or how amazingly good and surprised I'm going to be when I lift it up. So let's swap the old camera around. There we go. So far, no crunching. This is the first time I'm lifting it up, so you are with me on this. I tend to find that when the car's up like this, you see much more sort of issues with the paintwork, etc., that you would otherwise not see. Let's have a look underneath. Okay, get the old torch going. Those look, ooh, they look pretty rusty. Although I think it looks more like surface rust where it's just been sat. Those ABS rings look pretty rusty. Although I think the ABS works. I'm not really bothered about things like that because I can change a control arm quite easily. Or wishbone, or whatever Renault want to call it. Oh, that CV is destroyed over there, as you can see. Come on, camera. As you can see there, it's just made of, well, I don't know what that is. Just failed, basically. So that's leaking, needs to be fixed. Doesn't sound great, but that could be. Gimbal, what are you doing, Gimbal? That's where it's leaking. The exhaust isn't horrendous. Let's get the old chair going. Where's the chair? Chair! Come back, chair. I'll have a little scoot underneath here. So that's where our exhaust leak is from, clearly. Focus. Focus! I mean, it looks like the bolt has just rusted away. Oh, it has rusted away. So, okay, that's fine. Let's turn the... How about we turn the torch on the camera? Oh, that's so much better. Right, okay. What do the sills look like? Oh, not bad. Not bad. It's certainly no Mercedes when it comes to rust. But the sills here are pretty good. They're all solid. What about down here? Yeah, I mean, a little bit around the jacking area, which tends to go where people are a bit haphazard with the old jacking. They just don't put the rubber jacks in the right place, really. That looks pretty good. That rear beam is a bit on the surface rust side, but again, not horrendous. This is very basic compared to Mercedes. Is that a factory exhaust? I don't know enough about these cars to tell. Oh, it's a Miltech. It's got a Miltech exhaust on it. Oh, that's a nice surprise. What does the rest of the Miltech exhaust look like? Yeah. Okay. Not horrible. Let's spin around. Oh, so it needs an exhaust mount because that's held on with a zip tie. Shock absorber is leaking. Is that a piece of plastic? Yes. What does the back look like? I mean, look at this. Brake lines, there's a hard line from the caliper to the flexi for some weird reason, but look, it's not rusty at all. Mercedes, what's your excuse? This is a Renault. With the price point, it's a third of your cheapest car at the time this was made. Bit rust there. And up there. This is all surface, no holes. We'll just probably coat it with Dynax. I wouldn't even think to sand it down. Same thing up here. What does it look like? Okay, not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. What does the arches look like in there? Up here. Okay, we've got a bit of surface rust there. Is that a plastic? Yeah, there's a plastic panel there, and then where there is no plastic panel, it's a bit of surface rust. You can see this is just where this is the side with the fuel door that we showed you earlier. So, okay, so shock absorber, pans and discs because they're just rusty and they probably won't clean up. Springs are fine. Front shocks are fine. Front brake lines are fine. Look at that, but nothing at all. Absolutely rust free. Typical, eh? I think our sight unseen thing isn't horrendous. Right, we're going to pop the headlight off, other headlight, bumper, bonnet, and a few other bits, and it's going to go zoom over to Riverdale, where they're going to paint up that bonnet and sort the big old dent in the roof. These two scratches here that you can see in a bit better detail, so we're going to have to do something about them. I don't know quite what. We'll just fill them in or do something, but otherwise it's not bad. It's not bad. Shouldn't jinx it. Shouldn't jinx it. The tyres look brand new. Bit on the pearish side, but is there a date stamp on them? Ah, they're land sale. The opposite of what you would like to do on land with tyres. I'd like to not sail past where I'm trying to stop because of my crappy tyres. Okay, so their date stamp here, 14th week of 2015, so they're quite old, but they're not horrendous. And considering the car, it's probably worth just turning them into smoke. We've got an Avon ZV5 here, nothing like with a date stamp of 3514. I'm going to answer the phone, then I'm going to come back. Sorry about that. Right, let's have a look at the rears. We've got Pirelli P6000s. Pirelli P6000s are horrendous tyres. I don't know if you've ever driven a car with them, but they just have no grip in the wet at all. This one is quite old, 2007, 9th week. So they're not that pearish considering it must have kept in the dry. Anyway, tyres we'll deal with. You know, what can you do? Nice Miltech exhaust that needs a new... Oh, you can really see the hanger that's loose there. Oh, yes. I mean, it should be fairly easy to sort out. Probably are they all the same? Yeah. We'll deal with that. Right. Let's pop some things off and follow me afterwards. Okay. First problem, we have no locking wheel nut key. Thanks to whoever lost that. So my go-to method for taking the ones out with the rotating collar like these is just drill through the middle with good quality cobalt drill bits. So start with a small one like this. Don't drop it on the floor. Start with a small one, work it up to a larger one, something like that, and then hammer in a Torx bit, sacrificial Torx bit, or like a spleened tool that's got lots of sharp edges that will bite into the size hole that we drill into, and hopefully the bolt comes out and it's not over tightened. Sometimes it helps to tighten the remaining bolts a little bit to take some of the torque or the pressure on the face of it off that, although there's a bit of copper slip there, so I'm hopeful. So I'll come back once I've finished drilling that out. Right, so you can see what we've done here is we drilled through it and we've hammered in a spleen bit like this. I buy the cheapest ones I can find, because sometimes you snap them and you hammer them in, or you shatter them. Then once you've hammered it in, you just give it a little crack with the old breaker bar, and voila. I mean, that helps that it's been copper greased, and that it has a floating collar, which I've not seen before. That must be a Renner thing. So yeah, right, I get to do that again on the other side, happy days, and then we can have a look underneath the wheel arch. Right, we have the bumper off. Luckily this side had already had the arch liner off, so we didn't have to drill out the wheel bolt. Luckily, looks pretty good behind here. Headlights are still horrendous. I have a trick for these. So these are Xenons because it's a Renner Clio Sport. So aftermarket headlights are typically rubbish. My experience with depot headlights has been horrendous. They look fine, but functionality wise they're pretty horrendous. So my trick, if you're doing it on a French car, is to buy the depot headlight and take off the lens like this. And so what we're going to do is split the headlights. That's the wrong side. We're going to split the headlights. We're going to take off the horrible lens. We're going to put this lens on. If the car is hard to find and or has expensive headlights, then then we sand them, polish them, and then paint them with clear lacquer. That works very well, and it lasts indefinitely. However, it's very time consuming to get a good result. So if there's an alternative like that, these depot headlights were £40 each, I think, or £30 each. So it's a bit of a no-brainer to do this, in my opinion. Kind of dusty this workshop, it's horrendous. So keep the plastic on, keep them nice and shiny. So we're going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to take these headlights off. I'm going to have a look to see what's going on under there, because the body shop wants it without these. Then we're going to pop off the headliner, because I think that's the only thing they wanted. I've noticed this crack in the alternator, which may explain why the alternator doesn't work. Now, I wonder if this has had a little bump, this car. No, there's no evidence to say that it has. Interesting. Right. I'm going to pop those lights off and then we're going to come back. Right. Right. It's been stripped. Bumpers off. Headlights out. There is no real rust in here at all. That's a big anti-vibration weight for the engine mount. There is some sort of interesting flappy thing going on here for the air intake. So you've got an air intake that goes up to the airbox. Then you've got another air intake. I've no idea what that's meant to be. It's vacuum actuated, so the ECU must open and close it based on certain things, but I don't know why you wouldn't just have it all the time sort of going through there. So I have to research that. It's quite interesting. A lot of people put K&Ns and all that kind of stuff, suck hot air from the engine bay in, so maybe probably will do that for all the noise. Front wings are plastics, there's no rust there. I popped all the arch liners off. There is no real rust anywhere. This tiny little patch here, I thought, let me just have a look. And if you have a look up here, it's not really... Oh, there you go. Ooh, kind of. There you go. It's not really bad, so I don't know whether I'm going to get them to touch that. Probably leave it. Probably a stone chip or a scrape that's been fixed in the past. Rear bumper we got off. Again, no rust at all. Mercedes, maybe consult with Renault to find out what you're doing for the old rust treatment. So, gimbal's having a bit of a fit there. So, look, I mean, it's all pretty clean. Arches as well, really clean. I broke both studs off at the rears to hold the arch liners on, but what you're going to do? So, yeah, bonnet liner and everything is off. That's on the floor there. Everything on the bonnet off, ready for body shop to come and take it off, because they're just going to replace the whole bonnet anyway. I've left them that just so they don't get hit in the head. And I have spotted this. I'm going to try and find out, like, who owned it, or if somebody on the internet knows about it. The passenger side wheel bolt took 10 minutes to come off. The driver's side wheel bolt took 4 hours, because my method didn't work and it broke the removal spleened tool off in the socket, in the bolt. So I'm going to get a lock and wheel nut key for the rear wheels, because I'm not doing that again, spending 6 hours doing that. I think that's it. So off to Le Body Shop, and then when it comes back, we're going to do all of the interesting, fun stuff with the engine. So, I haven't mentioned once yet. Please like and subscribe, because it makes my YouTube algorithm more algorithmy, and everybody likes an algorithm. And it'll also make me happy, because I'll have more subscribers and I'll keep making videos knowing that it's not just me and 4 other people watching them. Any feedback, love it in the comments. That's about it. See you later. Right, one final update. The headliner is now out. As you can see, that sticky glue stuff was really awesome to remove. They did ask me to remove all of this wiring, but this is one negative point to Renault. It goes all the way down here, all the way down, and then splits off into 2 directions. So I thought, okay, I'll undo the siding that goes in the boot. And then, of course, the heating element for the rear window, one wire goes down here and comes out there. The other one comes out there, and the rest of it is for the boot lock and things. And it's sort of shoved down this track here. So I'm going to leave that and see how much fun they can have with that in the way, because I've lost patience now, and these kind of trims are always fun to get back on. Well, that wasn't too bad, actually. The roof lining was quite difficult. I was expecting it to be held on with clips or something, but it's just glued on here and here, so quite difficult to remove without creasing. The only crease that I can see is there. The other thing is trying to keep the thing clean when your arms are like sort of brown with dirt, not because of ethnicity. So that's interesting. We'll see. Anyway, off to the body shop. Hopefully the next series update is all shiny bodywork, and we'll get on to the mechanical stuff. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you so much.